Hey y'all, it's been a minute, but I wanted to come back and basically update. This is a different type of update. So if you have watched the previous videos on my channel, then you know that my sister is disabled. She had a brain aneurysm and a stroke at the age of 35, and could no longer live the same life and lifestyle that she had prior to having the aneurysm and stroke. And I became her legal guardian to assist her in medical decisions and care and that kind of thing. If you hear that little scratching noise, that's my puppy in the background. I got to keep him busy while I'm recording, so he got his little rawhide stick, so he's going to town. Anyway, so please forgive all that noise. So that happened to CeCe. That happened actually on April 15, 2015, and it is 2025. So we are 10 years after CeCe's aneurysm and stroke, and it seems like night and day. I mean, outside of CeCe not walking, and of course she doesn't have the use of her right hand fingers. Like, she doesn't have control and use of her right hand and fingers. But outside of that, man, CeCe is CeCe. she has what's diagnosed or has been diagnosed as aphasia. So sometimes what that means is the words that she may want to say don't necessarily come out. But if you give her time, they do eventually come out. And if she's passionate about something, she don't miss a beat. She can say a straight whole sentence and be on point 100%. Or she's angry about something. Same thing, passion, anger. She'll ramble it on out with no problem. But for the most part, CeCe. My wife and I, a few Christmases ago, got her an iPad, and she's on Facebook, IG, TikTok, all that. If you friend CeCe on any of those social media sites, and you see her comment, that's her. That's not me. That is her. She is operating her own iPad and on these social media sites. So CeCe is she's about 75% back to herself again, outside of walking and having the use of her right hand. She pretty much back, man. She's so independent. She's in the facility because, of course, she can't walk, and where I am, where we live, we have stairs on every floor. So she's in a facility, but she gets up, she washes herself up every day. Of course, grooms herself, takes care of herself, brushes her teeth, washes her face, all of that. She puts on her own clothes. She makes her bed every few days, I believe, when she gets like a full shower. They have certain days where they get full showers, and she changes her sheets on her own. They can do it for her, but she's got a schedule down, and she will change her sheets herself, outside getting herself dressed and then heading out. She's out of her room all day long. She's in activity, she's playing bingo, she eats downstairs. Like, all of this stuff she was not doing probably when I was last coming to you on the video, on the last update that I did 4 years ago. She wasn't doing that as much, to be perfectly honest. And then right after, I think I posted that last video in 2021, anyway, July 2021, CeCe had hip surgery. So where I had explained some years ago, where her hip had somehow gotten fractured during all of this back and forth and transferring from bed to hospital bed and everything she was dealing with her aneurysm and stroke. Somehow her hip got fractured and her right leg and foot would turn out and then bend up. So if you saw any pictures of her back then, any videos, her leg was like sitting outward. Her hips didn't line up right. And then it healed like that. So she was kind of stuck like that, which made it impossible for her to stand up or try to take steps to walk. So after going to orthopedic surgeon, doctor, She recommended that she have hip surgery because what was happening was the bone, I probably explained this in one of the videos, after the fracture that she had obviously had that we were unaware of during all of this, the bone, when it healed wrong. So instead of like the joint, the hip bone joint going in like this, kind of was out, and then bone grew around it, bad bone grew around it to keep it locked so it couldn't do anything, and it made her leg turn out. The surgeon went in July of 2021 and cut all of that bad bone around her out and took about 2 inches of her hip bone off of her that had healed wrong. So her legs are now straight. The only thing is she has about 2 inches off of her bone missing. So her right leg is 2 inches shorter than her left leg, but straight. So she can stand up, and she has a shoe lift, which allows her to have her inches back, that makes her stand straight up, and allows her to take steps assisted, because again, her right side is weak, so it's not as strong. So she has a little difficult time lifting that leg to actually do the stepping process, but she still does it. It's almost like a hop, skip. But over time, with strengthening exercise, I believe for her hip, she can get it down. So that's where we are now with her. She's very independent. She's trying to walk and gain strength back in her hip to get it strong enough to be able to lift it. So lift it and put it down, lift it and put it down, the steps that are required for walking. But CeCe's doing great, man. I'm happy. I'm proud of her. She's doing great, and which is perfect because the timing is almost perfect, because I am now dealing with another issue with another family member, my mom. My mom is 72, and even the last time I gave an update or previous videos within that CeCe aneurysm story, I had made mention that around 2012 or 2013, I don't know exactly which year it was, CeCe, this is before CeCe's illness, when she was living at the house with my mom, CeCe came in her room, or heard her calling out for her, or somebody did, heard her calling out for her, and CeCe found my mom on the floor, and one of her sides, left or right, I don't know, was not moving. She had like a slur, she couldn't talk. So called an ambulance, got her to ER. Doctors discovered that she had a stroke. And also within that discovery, when they did CAT scans and MRIs, they determined and found out that she had had 2 other strokes prior to that one. Probably smaller, could have happened in her sleep. But she didn't know, no one knew. So to this point, up to that point, and when she had this last one in 2012, it was discovered that she had 3 total. So although her mouth strength came back in the ER a few hours later, and I don't know what they gave her to do that, and her movement on that weaker side came back, she still kind of had like a drop mouth thing happening. She was left with like a little stutter. Like if she would say certain words, she would do that first before the word came out. And she started walking with a cane because her steps and her walking wasn't the same. So that happened, like I said, in 2012, 2013, something like that. And then CeCe happened in 2015. And now we are in 2025. My mom is now 72. And on January 27th, the day before my birthday, my son hit me and said that, he said Grams is on the ground and incoherent. She wasn't really talking or being herself, not answering questions. So he was at work at the time. His girlfriend found her, or came out and saw her like that, tried to get her up, couldn't. So They called 911. He rushed home from work, met the ambulance there. The initial thought was she was having another stroke or had another stroke. So they took her to the emergency room. I met her down there. I was coming to the house, and I ended up getting there right at the time the ambulance was leaving. So I just followed them, went to the hospital, got to the ER. It was packed, crazy packed. And this was about 6:30 p.m. on the 27th of January. After running tests and MRIs, CAT scans, the ER doctor came to me and he said, they saw what looked like two masses in your mom's brain. I said, two masses? So she didn't have another stroke? He said, no, right. Initially, we thought it may be a stroke, maybe aneurysm, something. We ruled that out. No, it looks like big masses. I'm like, man, what does that mean? And then he just looked me dead in my eyes and then kind of touched my shoulder and said, it looks like she has cancer or benign tumors, which would mean non-cancerous, if that's the case, or malignant, which means cancerous. Two big masses in her head. And they said they're huge. Did she show any signs of neurological distress? I said, no, probably about a week or so ago. When I talked to her on the phone, she seemed to not be able to complete a sentence. But again, my mom had the stutter thing with the strokes, and I just assumed, all right, she been doing something she wasn't supposed to be doing, or she not getting her right. I don't know what I thought, but I was still able to talk to her. We conversed even the day before that. I talked to her on the phone, and she wanted something to eat. I got her something, ordered her something to eat. That's what I did most of the time. My mother didn't really go out for the past year or so. She wasn't going out as much anymore, especially when it was cold, like during these months. She not going outside. It's cold, it's icy out there. She don't want to fall. She already walking with a cane. Every now and again, she would go on down to the corner store, but that was it. She wasn't like traveling to the store. My uncle would come up and take her to the grocery store, and she would go shopping. That kind of thing. But other than that, if she didn't have a ride, she wasn't really going out. So, like I said, the day before, on the 26th, I had just spoken with her on the phone, ordered some food. She got the food, ate. Everything was like normal. Even though her words were a little jumbly, more than usual. Like I said, I noticed it maybe about a week or so ago, but she was still talking. She was still communicating, still doing the same things around the house. Getting up, going to the bathroom, or up and down the steps on her own, eating, that kind of thing. So now we're in the ER, and he said, you didn't know? I said, no, I don't, I don't live with her, and she pretty much lives alone, So outside of talking to her on the phone, I didn't notice anything outside of what I told him about a week ago in her speech. But again, she had strokes, so he said, okay, well, we're gonna, get her into ICU, and neurosurgery will come, evaluate her, take a look at her. So she'll be in their care. I said, okay. And the first thing I asked was, how is this hospital? Is it equipped for that kind of thing? And he was very honest with me, and he told me that the hospital she was in, if it had been an aneurysm or stroke that, needed attention, then no, they would more than likely recommend she go somewhere else, to other hospitals around the city that were more equipped. And I know that for a fact because of CeCe have it done at a different hospital. But when he said that it's, the masses, he said oncology there, neurosurgery there was good. And he said they can definitely handle it there. So I said, okay. It took all night up until 2:30 in the morning before a ICU room opened up. And they got her down there, got her in the bed, got her comfortable. So I spent the first part of my birthday in the ER with my mom. And during this time, she's not talking at all. She's not saying anything. You ask her name, not saying anything. She's looking at you, You know, she's looking around, but she's not communicating at all. And it had been like that the entire time, from when she was home to the ambulance and to the ER. She was not speaking at all, but was awake, and she would go up, fall off to sleep every now and again. But that was it. In the ER, they said we're going to give her some steroids because there's kind of a lot of swelling around the masses, and that'll help. And we'll give her something for pain, which they did. And then she just was not talking. So got her into the ICU room about 3 o'clock in the morning, and they got her comfortable. Talked to the nurses, and then gave my information again. It's like every time she went somewhere different, from the ambulance to the ER to the to the ER doctor to the now ICU nurse. I had to tell the same story over and over again. What happened, how she was found, what was going on, what was her life like prior to coming in, all of that. So I repeated it probably 4 times, or maybe 5 times. And then she was settled, comfortable in her room. So I left because I knew that this was getting ready to be a big thing we were about to embark on again. And I needed to go get some rest. So I left. I got home maybe about 5 in the morning. And it's the day of my birthday, January 28th. So I didn't do anything. I just laid in the bed. And my wife was like, no, we got to do something. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. I don't want to go out. I literally was so tired that I don't think I got up till maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that the neurosurgeon was calling. The hospital was calling. I mean, I had to speak to several doctors that day. Got up and I said, I just want to go grab me a cheesesteak, steak and cheese, and a cupcake or something, some ice cream, and then that's it. Went out, got that, came home, ate. Spoke with the neurosurgeon, and they told me we're going to do surgery because we want a biopsy. She has 2 masses in her head. One is both on the left side. One is toward the front above her ear, and it's affecting her speech. So that's why she's not speaking at all. It's kind of pressing down on her speech. The other is in the base of her skull, same side, left side. It's not so invasive, but it may be affecting her vision on her right side. So he wants to biopsy it. He doesn't want to touch the one affecting her speech, because if something happens while in surgery trying to get it cut out, her speech could be lost forever. So he didn't want to mess with that. He said, I would rather her, she's already having maybe a little vision issue in her right eye. I'd rather go get the one in the back and remove it. And worst case scenario, she's already experiencing, issues there. It won't be as bad as messing with the one in the front. So I told him, okay. He said, we're going to see if an OR is available, and then I'll let you know when it'll be. So I'm like, okay. I didn't think it would be that day. So I got some more rest, relaxed for the rest of the day. January 29th, 6:30, 6:45 a.m. Got interrupted. So January 29th, phone's ringing, 6 something in the morning. I jump up as I see the hospital, and that's calling, and it is the surgical team, the doctor, nurses. They're on this conference call thing because they want to get my verbal okay to perform the surgery for my mom. And I'm like, wait, hold up, you're doing it right now? Like, I wanted to be there. And they're like, no, we got the operating room. Yeah, the doctor's like, look, I got some nurses. They didn't have anything. Normally, the schedule's set the day before. So when I talked to you, I didn't think it would be the next day. I apologize that I didn't convey that. But I was able to get them to put me in. So we want to get this done. So I'm like, all right, okay, I have no choice. Yes, go ahead, do it. So we're going to do the biopsy. We're going to take I said, you going to take the whole thing? And he said, yep. I'm going to get out as much of it as I can. Again, I'm not going to touch the one that's in front. But we want to get it out, and then we'll see. He said, normally, tumors like this don't originate in the head when you have 2. When you have more than one in the head, they don't originate there. They come from some other place in the body, more than likely, and then they migrate to the head. So we want to get it out, biopsy it, study it, and see what kind of tumor this is. So I said, so you say it's a tumor now. It's not benign. He said, no, it's definitely a tumor. It's malignant. I said, okay. And so then my questions start rolling. How long have you done? Have you done the surgery before? How long? And he was great in answering my questions. Yes, I've done it. I've been doing it 30 years. I'm head of neurosurgery. We do 300-400 of these at this hospital. We have done 300-400 of these surgeries. I said, okay, I'm good. I'm satisfied. Yes, please go ahead. I gave him all my verbal okays. And then I meditated, continued to meditate, because that's what I was doing when the call came in. I continued to meditate, finished it out. And he said surgery would more than likely begin about 8:30. And I asked him how long it would take. He said right before the lunch hour, she should be done. So I said, well, I'll be there by then. I live, quite a ways away. And then with rush hour traffic, because it was a weekday. But I would be there before she came out of surgery. He said, okay, so I'll see you then. I'll come get you when it's over. And so I got up. My wife, I told her no. I wanted her to stay here with the puppy. I was going to be good. And if something else happened, of course, she could come later. But no, I wanted her to stay home. I didn't think it was going to be that. I was confident, based on what he said, that we were going to be good. So, head out, got there, in the waiting room, came right to me. It was about 11:30, like he said. Came out, he said she did great. He said took the ventilator out. She's breathing on her own. She's kind of waking up now, but she did great. I got it all from the back. So we're going to take a look at it, see what it is. May take about a week or so. And then more than likely she'll need radiation therapy after that. To get rid of everything that's there. The remaining one and whatever was left behind that they didn't get. I said, okay. He said, but we can't do that until her incision heals. So I said, okay. He said, maybe about a week. I said, all right, thank you. She's down in ICU in her room again, recovering. I'll go down and see her. She's out. She got this head bandage. So my mom had a bunch of hair. It was all over her head in the ER the day before in a bonnet. And now looks like she probably has no hair because they got this gauze wrapped around her whole head. But she was knocked out. So when I got there, she opened her eyes for a little bit, but she didn't really, acknowledge me too tough. So I stayed with her for a while, made sure she was good, played her some music, that kind of thing. Let my family know what happened, that she came through surgery great. And we just had to really wait until we found out what kind of tumor it was. And that took quite some time. The oncology radiologist who I met a few days after her surgery told me that if it takes about a week for it to come back, so we know what we're dealing with. But sometimes it could take longer, and if that's the case, if we don't know, we can't identify it, we send it out to be evaluated. And then that could take longer, maybe 2 weeks, but it'll be at least a week, and she's got to heal. So she said like this shoehorn, I ended up putting some pictures and stuff up, but she had like this shoehorn incision scar or whatever from when he went in and took it out on the side of her head. So that had to heal before anything else can be done. And I said, so we won't know if it came from somewhere else or originated there. He said, not till biopsy is complete. So I'm like, okay. But now when I'm seeing my mom a few days later, she's up kinda, but she's still in and out. And because she's in and out, she can't tolerate food by mouth or drink by mouth or anything. So they put this NG tube into her nose, feeding tube, medicine tube, but they put it through her nose so that they can give her nutrients. Because it's been a few days now, and she hasn't had anything but IV and fluids and medicines and stuff. She can't stand this tube, okay? So one time she took it out and they got it back in. So they had to give her the mitts, the same big mitts they gave CeCe in one of the videos I talked about before when CeCe tried to pull her trach out. Like mother, like daughter like mother now. So excuse me. She couldn't stand that thing. But she's in ICU. She's recovering. She's still not speaking. So we were just waiting to find out what was going on. But in the meantime, I had to start doing paperwork. Now, the real point of this video is, yes, it's an update and letting people know what's going on with my mom, because a lot of people don't know outside of family. I have made no public post on any social medias about anything. Although the majority of people in our lives, in my mom's life, her family, her friends, her church, they're all been updated. So if you're seeing this and, you know, you're close to the family and I neglected, or someone neglected to reach out to you, I apologize, but I could not tell every single person, and I couldn't handle being able to tell every single person and deal with everything else that I'm dealing with. So my aunt has been pretty much keeping family updated. I call her, even though she's out of state, I call her, let her know the updates, and then she gets the information out to the family. For my mom's friends, the people that I had contact with, like one of her best friends, my godmom, I was able to reach out to her, call her and let her know. She's out of state as well. A few friends that she grew up with that I had contact with through Facebook, I let them know, especially ones that's in the city, because they were able to come visit her. I wanted everybody to come and visit her that could, because I live so far away. I was not able to go every day to see her or be there with her every single day. So I wanted everybody that could, that are in town, to come and visit her and sit with her and be with her and, you know, give me updates if I'm not there. And that's exactly what's been happening. But I wanted to start this video back up because I want to talk to people that are caregivers. Now I'm a caregiver 2 times over with my sister still. Although she's a lot more independent, I'm still her legal guardian and still her caregiver to make decisions for her, because she's kept getting interrupted. I got an alarm. 3 times a day I set an alarm so I could say prayers and give thanks, and it went off. And because I didn't turn it off, it keeps coming back every 9 minutes. So anyway, like I said, I'm still CeCe's caregiver, and so to help to make the decisions that she needs medically. Still have to go on appointments with her. Like, during all of this, she has dentist appointments that's been happening. And I'm there with her for that. So I'm taking care of her, and I'm taking care of going down to see my mom. Now I got to fill out the paperwork because my mom does not have a power of attorney. She does not have a living will. Any of the things, just like CeCe, she does not have. So I have to apply for her to have care she's going to need. Because she won't be able to, no matter what, she wouldn't be able to go back and do anything on her own, live on her own, care for herself anymore. So she's going to have to go to a facility, a skilled nursing facility, a long-term care facility that'll be able to care for her 24/7. So you have to apply for that. She has insurance, but she does not have, like, the part that would take care of or pay for that kind of care. So I had to apply for that. And I have to apply to be her legal guardian because I'm her daughter. But even with applying for her her Medicaid and that kind of stuff, the forms I would need, like her Social Security and all of that kind of financial stuff, I don't have access to. Can't go to the bank, can't do anything. Just saying I'm her daughter and she's in the hospital, you need paperwork that says you have permission to do that. So the only way to do that without power of attorney is to file for a legal guardianship. So these are the type of things that I wanted to speak to you guys about. For people that are going through it or have never been through it, these are the type of things that you're going to have to do. If you're ever put into this situation, if you're caring for someone that does not have power of attorney or spouse to take care of this kind of stuff, you would have to go down to the court in the state that that person lives in. Because although I'm in Maryland, And more than likely, I would like to bring my mom to Maryland, closer to me, so that it's easier for me to get to her on a regular. She's a DC resident, and DC has jurisdiction. So I have to go to DC court, and I have to file to be her guardian in DC court, which I have done, and that is in the process now, so that I can take care of everything that's going to need to be done for her care, make the decisions officially for her for her care. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I gotta do it. That's my mom. I'm gonna do it. But it is not easy. The blessing in this is my mom is a stubborn person, was very, very stubborn before all of this happened. She was very, very stubborn. And in the recent years, when I would go to doctor's appointment with her, or say, hey, do you need me to do this? Can I put you into this retirement community so that you can get food on a regular basis? You don't have to be buying crazy food, fast food all the time. Because she's not cooking anymore. She's not doing any of that kind of stuff. It's not fast, or it's not microwavable, or whatever. She's not eating it. So, hey, let's go to a facility where you can have care and socialize, because she's not getting out. She's not going out on her own. She's not driving anymore. She had her license still. She doesn't have a car. So once a year, she might rent a car and come see CeCe. If she didn't get a ride to come and see her, she would rent a car, so she was driving. But she probably hadn't done that in maybe about 6-8 months. So she's not getting out like that. And I'm like, look, if you go to a retirement community, independent living, you live on your own, you got your own room, is your own locked bathroom, kitchen, all of that. And then you could also go to the, whatever, activities room, dining room to have dinner with people, or you can do it yourself. But you have that option. They got activities. You can go shopping. They got bus trips. I mean, you could have more of a life than just sitting in the living room watching TV. No, I don't want to do that yet. I'm not doing that yet. That's what she told me. I think up to 2023. She told me that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not ready for that yet. That's what she was saying. I was like, okay, all right, fine. So I just did what I could do, what she would allow me to do. But she pretty much needed somebody to take over and do these things for her so that she can get the care that she needed. But she was too stubborn to allow it to happen. So I say the blessing in that is that, yes, we're dealing with cancer. And I can't even begin to tell you what else is going on in my family, my distant family, like not my immediate family, but family members, other stuff that's going on. It's not my business to put out there, but this timing is crazy when I say. So yes, we're dealing with cancer. And yes, she can't care for herself, but in the past month that this is taking place, my mom has seen friends she hasn't seen in years. I'm talking years. She has seen family members that she probably hasn't seen in months. Her church members. I mean, she's getting round the clock care, fluids, because my mother, all she knew was tea, hot tea. She started drinking sodas in her later years. Rarely would drink water, and that she's pouring it in her tea. She thinks that's water. She's using it to make tea, and she thinks that's water. So now, with her health situation, she's getting round the clock care. She's getting the fluids. She's getting nutrients. She's getting the care that she needs. And she's getting the visits that she hasn't had. So it's a blessing in this, and that's what we choose to think about, even though this is crazy, and what we're faced with and what we're dealing with. I know God's will be done, and like I said, I don't have to worry about my mom. I was so worried that my son would come in there one day and find her and she'd be gone, that kind of thing. because she just was not caring for herself like she should, and she didn't allow us to do it so much. And I would have hated for that for my son. So now she's somewhere where she's getting care. But as a caregiver, myself, it's a lot. I am more prepared this time around than I was with CeCe. CeCe's was just out of the blue. And this is out of the blue, but CeCe was 35, living her best life. My mom's 72. She was already had a quality of life that was diminishing, that I saw over time. So it's a little different. And because I've gone through it with CeCe, paperwork, court, all of that, I'm more knowledgeable now and more prepared now than I was with CeCe. So I'm more confident in what I'm doing. And that helps. Of course, I still got the best wife in the business who literally knows everything in the world. I'm sorry, she does. Stuff she doesn't know, looks up, researches, and gets the answer. So I'm more prepared this time around than I was with CeCe, and I'm grateful for that. I'm going to stop here because I'm going. So I'm going to end up having to come back and give you, number one, updates on my mom. And just talk a little bit about being a caregiver and what that looks like. And what it could look like if you're going through it. If you have any questions, comments, please comment down below. Ask me if you're going through this, a similar situation. And you just want to get some stuff off your chest, put some comments in there, questions for me. I'd be happy to answer what I can. So, all right, y'all. I'm back, and I will be back. Please subscribe and like this video. Talk to you later.